Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let all rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. I'm Vivian.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Farrell.
And we are the Black History Hunters.
This is our first episode in 2020.
Woo!
Sorry that we didn't upload in like forever. We've just been really busy.
Yeah, busy. So today I'm gonna teach you about someone who I don't even know from my mom's African American book. And his name is David Walker. David Walker was born in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1796 or 1797. Although he learned to read and write, we know nothing of his early life. He may have attended a biracial Methodist church in Wilmington. As a young man, he traveled widely and, according to his appeal, spent the time in Charleston, South Carolina, where he attended a religious camp meeting in 1821. This has led historians to conjecture that Walker knew something about Denmark Vesey's conspiracy, or if he was still in Charleston in 1822, that he may even have participated in it. By 1825, Walker was in Boston dealing in secondhand clothes. He had his own shop, lived in the city's black neighborhood, was married and had a daughter and son. At the time when many occupations were closed to African Americans, Walker was doing relatively well. He associated with well-established local black people, including Thomas Paul, an abolitionist minister, and William C. Nell, a foe of Boston's segregated public schools. During the late 1820s, Walker was a circulation agent for Boston for John Russwurm and Samuel Cornish. Freedom's Journal. Conscious of the legal disabilities African Americans faced in Boston as he was of the oppressiveness of slavery, in December 1828, he addressed the Massachusetts General Colored Association on the topic of black cooperation with white abolitionists to improve the conditions of free black people and to liberate slaves. Not long after this, Walker became more radical. He wrote his appeal in September 1829, implemented a clandestine method to circulate it. Among slaves, he had black and white sailors to whom he sold used clothes in Boston, take copies of the pamphlet to southern ports and distribute them to African Americans. When white Southerners discovered that slaves had copies of the pamphlet, Southern officials demanded that the mayor of Boston stop Walker from publishing. When the mayor refused, rumors circulated that a group of white Southerners had offered a reward for Walker, dead or alive. It was not surprising, therefore, that when Walker's daughter and then Walker himself died during the summer of 1830, many assumed that had been poisoned. The most recent biography of Walker, however, indicates that he died of tuberculosis. Walker's appeal was in 4 articles together with a preamble to the colored citizens of the world, but in particular and very expressively to those of the United States of America, written in Boston in the state of Massachusetts, September 28th, 1829.
Wow.
He seems like a cool dude. I didn't know that he was free. Not many people talk about free blacks.
That's true. I really thought he was really cool, though. I really liked it.
I like it too.
Vivian, what Black History figure are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do Crispus Attucks. I'm gonna tell you a little something about it. Crispus Attucks was a fugitive slave who escaped in 1750 at age 27 from his Framingham, Massachusetts master. Attucks' father was black, his mother Indian. His master described him as a mulatto fellow, about 27 years old, named Crispus. 6 feet 2 inches, height, short curled hair, his knees nearer together than common. During his 20s years as a fugitive, Attucks worked as a sailor with Boston as his home port. Attucks shared the anti-British sentiment that developed after the French and Indian War. This is not surprising since the tightening restrictions Parliament placed upon American trade affected his livelihood as a seaman. In Boston, British soldiers were the most obvious target of such resentment. Bostonians had insulted and thrown rocks at them for some time before Attucks joined a motley crowd that with clubs and sticks accosted a small detachment of troops on the chilly evening of March 5th, 1770. Attucks was not the only African American in the mob. One pro-British witness described those who gathered as saucy boys, Negroes and mulattoes, Irish teagues, and outlandish jactars, which are sailors. Although eyewitness accounts differ, Attucks probably took the lead in confronting Captain Thomas Preston and the 9 soldiers under his command. A black witness maintained that Attucks, a stout man with a long cord-wooded stick, hit a soldier, which led to the troops to fire on the mob. John Adams, who defended the soldiers in court, credited this account, and Attucks was almost certainly the first to die when the soldiers, with their backs to a wall, fired. Samuel Adams, John's cousin, and the other patriots in Boston declared the 47-year-old Attucks the first martyr to British oppression. They carried his coffin, along with those of 3 of the other 4 men who were killed, to Faneuil Hall, called the Cradle of Liberty, because of its association with the revolutionary rhetoric. There, Attucks lay in state for 3 days with the other victims of what Americans immediately called the Boston Massacre. From this hall, 10,000 mourners accompanied 4 hearses to Boston's middle burying ground. The inscription on the monument raised to commemorate the Martyrs reads, "Long as in the freedom's cause the wise contend, dear to your country's hall shall your fame extend, while to the world the lettered stone shall tell, where Caldwell Attucks, great and maverick fell." Bostonians celebrated the anniversary of the massacre
annually until the 1840s. They revived the practice in 1858 to protest the Supreme Court's decision in Dred Scott v. Sanford that African Americans were not citizens of the United States. At about the same time, African Americans in Cincinnati formed the Attucks Guards to resist enforcement of the Fugitive Slave Law. After the Civil War, Black abolitionist William C. Noe linked the service of Black men in defense of the Union to Attucks sacrifice in defense of this nation's freedom. Attucks has remained a symbol of African American patriotism. In 1967, at the height of the Vietnam War, the Newark, New Jersey Board of Education, at the express desire of the city's large Black community, made March 5th an annual holiday in honor of Attucks. This was the first holiday to recognize an African American.
And here is a picture of him in the book. Well, more like a drawing, but
Wow.
yeah.
I really liked it.
Cool beans, Vivian.
I really liked it too. It was really awesome. I love that it turned into an actual annual holiday, and I love that it was for an African American, because we're African Americans and we really honor other African Americans. And it's amazing that we get to have a holiday made for one.
Yeah.
And another cool thing that I thought about it is that he's a small guy. Like, really the only African American that we celebrate is Martin Luther King.
And Rosa Parks.
We don't celebrate her.
Yeah, we do.
Not like that.
Come on.
Well, we have a holiday for Martin Luther King. So it's nice to see another Black person getting a holiday.
Yeah. Eric, what do you have?
I have this card.
Whoa, a card. That's cool.
Nia Simone. Always sure singer, songwriter, past pianist, arranger, and civil rights activist. Always includes songs and repertory that drew upon her African American origins. Openly addressed the recent racial inequality prevalent in the United States with the song Mississippi Blank Blank in 1946. Song called for recent racial relations to challenges to change and for more developments. Messages to the public signify the transition from a non-violent approach to social change that was advocated by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Received Grammy Hall of Fame Award for interpretation of I love you, Porgy. In 2000. In 2010, statue in her honor erected on the Chaco Street in her native Tory Tryon, North Carolina.
Good job.
Good job. Even though you stumbled, you still did great.
Reading is fundamental. 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 Reading is fundamental.
And make sure to subscribe.
And like and drop that bell to see when we post a new video.
Make sure to share with your friends.
Bye!
It's been Pharaoh,
Vivian,
And Eric.
and we're the
the
Black History Hunters.
Bye! Reading is fundamental.